N'hésitez pas. N'hésitez surtout pas et ne faites pas compter. Prenez votre téléphone, prenez-le tout de suite et appelez le 112, le 804, le 02 95. Nous sommes là, ici à Telco TV, pour rendre votre vie simple et agréable. Alors, saisissez l'occasion. $185 pour toute une année, pour 12 mois, inclus le box. Quoi de mieux que ça? Pour toutes vos informations en politique, en économie, en sport, en santé, retrouvez Yves Kenao sur Tempo Afrique TV, la station de l'éveil du continent africain.
Du nouveau à Minneapolis, Tempo Afrique Travel. Vous voulez voyager? Achetez vos billets d'avion à l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté, de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.
At that time, we used to call it Togoland. And so Togo was divided into two entities. One portion went to Benin, that is the French Togo, and the other one went to Ghana. And that is what we are calling Western Togoland today. So after the war, after whatever shenanigans, these invaders, the predators, the looters have come to, they have given back the French portion its autonomy. But the part that is incorporated in Ghana did not get that autonomy. So, under the guise of a referendum or plebiscite, that portion of Togo was finally incorporated to Ghana officially. But it looked like there were some clauses and some agreements that were not properly followed or adhered to. And so as our guest started telling us, he was saying that even though politically they were Ghanaians, some Ghanaians are still calling them not Ghanaians. And that prompted the foundation of a study group that they named, Western Homeland Study Group. That's aimed at unearthing the truth behind this so-called, what happened anyway in terms of that part belonging to Ghana. So I think I've already interviewed one guy here by the name of Daniela Yewuga. Yes, I think our guest is back. And I hope we will have this internet or this network work very well for him. So as I was saying, you were explaining, you back. Welcome back, Mr. George Nyaku. So,
Thank you.
So you were explaining that, even though you are Ghanaians, at school or anywhere, some people still viewed you as maybe not Ghanaian. And so I was asking you to explain how so.
Yeah, like I was explaining before the interaction, and I apologize for that.
No problem.
Yeah, like I was saying, this is an open secret when you come to Ghana. even recently, during the voter registration, you hear commentaries from MPs and other astute citizens of the land saying that Votarians are not Ghanaians, so they have to go back to Togo. And these people, they will start to recount the history of how the voter region got to be part of Ghana, which we are aware of. Recently, during the voter registration, you see a lot of military men sent to Aplau. You see a lot of military men sent to Banda. And so many citizens that are voter descent are being told to leave the area and go back to voter region because they are not Ghanaian. This is on live television, and you can see the state apparatus being sponsored to carry out this. So this is what I was trying to explain to you, that over the years, Homeland Security Foundation has been set up to unearth so that we, the people who belong to the Western Togoland, can properly have our citizenship back and restored.
So, yeah, because if someone listening to us or to you will say, is this Mr. Nyaku telling the truth? Because how come your area have representatives at the Ghanaian parliament? Yeah, you have some MPs from your area. What are your MPs saying about what the other MPs are saying about you?
Yes, many times when this story or this issue or raises its head, the MPs try to explain or caution their fellows that, okay, they all understand what happened in 1956. In 1956, the divided Togoland, the western portion, was supposed to be independent. By true machinations, by actors, the land was supposed to be part of Ghana through a plebiscite. Now, how do this thing happen? In the plebiscite, the condition stated in the plebiscite was very explicit. The land, the Western Togoland and the Gold Coast are supposed to be in a union. But this union was not put in place. So when we are managing the situation, you cannot be meddling it further. So they try to caution their fellows on several occasions, but it's like there's this perchance on the side of some group of people who call themselves indigenous Ghanaians, and they don't want any person or any group of people that are not Ghanaian. This agenda started since 1956, and it was put on paper and published in 1982, and it was carried out. A lot of other issues were carried out even in 2006 till today. So the MP, some cautioning their fellows that what they are doing is not right, but they keep on.
So are you saying that this is an official national agenda to somehow sideline you, people from Volta region, and humiliate you as less Ghanaian? Are you saying that some of your rights are not respected? Are they violating some of your rights as Ghanaian citizens?
Yes, when you come to our economic rights, it's not respected. The land is supposed to be in a union. When we are in a union, there are agreements that unionized state goes through. In our case, there's nothing like that. And day in, day out, you see that authorities of Ghana will be interfering in our land, taking resources from our land to their side. And this resource, when it is taken to their land, our part is left less developed. This is what we face. So when we finish school in Western Togoland or the Volta region and part of it that linked to the northern, we have to come to Accra, Kumasi, many of us just doing menial jobs before we can earn a living. So economically, our rights is being trampled upon. And since 1956, our right as human beings that are supposed to belong to a state has been taken away completely. And our land keeps suffering from various ceding till today. The last one was the OT region that was created out of our land. But in the plebiscite document, UN was very clear that no part of the land must be ceded to any colony. Britain do not have the right to cede any part of Western Togoland to her colony Gold Coast. Likewise, France do not also have the right to cede any part of the Eastern Togoland to Dahomey. But when it comes to our side, all our land has been ceded till today. What is left of the Western Togoland, which is called the Volta region, is just like the size of our palm, which is against our human rights.
So when some Ghanaians are telling you that you are not Ghanaians, that you should go back to your Togo, are they saying that you should leave the land and go, or they want you to take the land and, like to join Togo with the Volta region? What do they want? They want you as a people to vacate the land, or they want your parts to be, added to Togo so you can be one over there? What are they asking for?
Now, all that they are asking us is that they don't want the plebiscited Ghanaians. That's how they nickname. So documents here and publications here since 1982. There was a group of Ghanaians called Association of Indigenous Ghanaians. They wrote a letter and copied several organizations that they don't want the Togolander among them. They should remain in their Western Togoland so that they too can mind their business. And they even threaten in the letter some actions that they'll be taking against our land. Fast forward to 2006, this same indigenous Ghanaians in another nickname Ashanti Warriors wrote a letter directing the citizens of Western Togoland that if they didn't vote for a particular political party, they will have bombs detonated in various portions of the land. So they don't just want us to go just like that, but they try to practicalize it. And since they cannot come out openly to wage war, any least opportunity they have, they try to visit mayhem in the land. This is what they have been doing consistently till today.
Right now, do you know how many people can count as part of our Togoland, like your population size?
Okay, our population per our own findings, our population is now ranging to 7 million people.
7 million?
Yes.
Out of how many people in the entire Ghana? 7 million.
The entire Ghana is estimated to be 30 million.
30 million, yeah? Yeah. So 7 million out of almost 1/3 of the population. And that is huge. That's huge.
Yeah, and this figure, it is based on our own situation, limited situation or method of what? Of realizing our figure.
Yeah, do the census.
So if we have a proper system in place, we could have more figures from this. Because our resources are limited in ascertaining the true population, the few that we can gather with the resources available to us, this is what it offers us.
So right now, what is the study group asking for? Because you put in place a study group to unearth the truth behind this, what happened. So what are the conclusions of your study group?
Yeah, any study is directed towards something. You learn from the unknown, yes, from the known to the unknown.
Yes.
So the purpose of the study group is to educate the population, give them that consciousness to understand that where we are currently, called Ghana, where our citizenship has been taken away from us, is an affront to our human rights as citizens. So it is time for us to learn about our history and take what belongs to us and establish ourselves as we are supposed to be since 1922. This land was recognized since 1922, and Britain and France has been given direct orders that they should nurture this land into full independence, not adding any portion to their colony. But what we are having today, the non-existence of Western Togoland means that Britain has violated that act of the United Nations, because you are supposed not to add any portion of the divided land to your colony. But now we have all this land clandestinely integrated into Ghana. And this is not what the 1956 plebiscite said. This is not what the plebiscite was supposed to result into. So the Homeland Security Foundation has been set up to make sure that diplomatically and democratically we have our Western Togoland back on the globe as a country that is supposed to be. It will be interesting to know that since then, Gold Coast under Britain was a colony, whilst Western Togoland and Eastern Togoland were territories.
I think again we are having some technical issues with our guest, and unfortunately we are entering the very important portion of this important interview with Nyapu George, Deputy Pro Homeland Study Group Foundation, who is here to talk about that portion of Ghana between Togo and Ghana that is now known as Western Togoland. The portion that, according to Nyaku,
people don't, but Britain was using the already existing structures of Gold Coast to rule over our land. So you can see that we don't have any authority then to even decide what we are supposed to do then. Everything was usurped even since then. So the purpose of the study group is for, at this 21st century, to use more diplomatic and democratic means to what? Re-establish our land as it's supposed to be.
So I think in one of your answers, you said that the UN mandate made it clear that none of the annexing countries, either Dahomey or Ghana, they should incorporate, Western and Eastern Togo into their territory. But the same UN oversaw the plebiscite that took place in 1956. So, do you think there is sincerity here? The same United Nations that was somehow saying you don't need to annex or incorporate these lands into yours, but at the same time they sent observers to come and observe the plebiscite of 1956. Don't you think that there is a problem there? Like
no,
it is
actually,
like they are playing they're arsonist and then firefighter. Yeah.
No, actually, what happened then was that when there was cry for independence across various colonies, and Ghana or Gold Coast then led by Kwame Nkrumah was the vanguard for independence across Africa.
Yes.
So what happened? Britain rushed to UN that if Gold Coast is granted independence, she could no longer administer the Western Togoland, her mandate. So she proposed that she wants to integrate Western Togoland into Gold Coast with some 4 charges. That some of the charges is the destiny of Western Togolanders are in Gold Coast, which is a blatant untrue. Britain also said the land is too small to be allowed to be independent. This was also another lie told by Britain, because even till today, the remaining of the Volta region is even bigger than some states. Gambia is there.
Yes.
Even San Marino is there, which is very tiny, population of, let me say, 30,000 people. But This is a nation on its own. And you are talking about a whole stretch of Western Togoland from north to the south that these people, that their land size is too small. And our brothers in the land then, the political actors in the land then, were invited by UN to come and answer this question. And they make it clear that all that Britain was saying was a total lie. So the visiting mission came to ascertain the truth. So during that time, they realized that no, what Britain is saying about our land is not true. So what they suggested was that there should be a union. There should be a union. Instead of integration, there should be a union. So the purpose of the 1956 plebiscite was not supposed to what? Integrate Western Togoland. Was supposed to ascertain the wish of the people so that a union can be established between the two lands. Now, when there's a union, we will have a certain autonomy. Both will also have their autonomy, and we'll move in that union together. But so long as that did not happen, it means that our part of the land is just being, let me say, stolen into another nation. Because when the visiting mission came and has concluded their everything and the place was supposed to be held, the margin between the yes to be part of Ghana and the no to be independent, the margin was 16%. Actually, another referendum was supposed to be organized again because the margin is too meager, but it was allowed. What happens? During this era, immediately after the plebiscite, Britain sent the West African Frontier Forces and Boko Constabulary to Pando, Fodome, Alavanyo, and Hoju, and the purpose was to go and curb a rebellion over there. When they get there, they started shooting in the air. So there was a war there while they're supposed to sit here and form a union between the land. Immediately, those wars begin to happen in those areas. The visiting mission left. So it's not that we are telling untruth about our situation or anything. We have everything that UN said about our land, from the trusteeship era to the mandatory era and up until now.
So one would say, based on what the UN said, that no annexing countries like Gold Coast or Dahomey should attempt to incorporate, the western part of Ghana. But yeah, I do know the eastern part of Ghana, which was under the hand of under the control of Dahomey. But Togo today is the portion that Dahomey used to control. Yeah. So if that is the case, don't you think that it is logical for the Western Togoland to go back to Togo? Because normally it was a Togoland. It was one land between Benin and Gold Coast. Yeah. Now that the war is over, and now that the French portion that is today Togo is there, sitting as a country, don't you think it is logical for you guys to join Togo? Because this is where the land belonged in the past, before it was divided between. So don't you think it is logical to go back, because it is a portion, it's like a detachment of Togo that is now suffering between Togo and Ghana. So don't you think it is logical for that portion of the land, to go back to Togo to become whole again?
Thank you. It will be a concerted effort for the Togo that we have today and the Western Togoland to decide that after Western Togoland has been given their full statehood. Because we are feeling cheated over here. A land was divided into two. You have one orange, you divide it into two. Now, you said these oranges should be on their own. And when the time comes for them to be on their own, one was left to be on its own, and one was forced into a pawpaw. This is what I'm trying to so if UN said, okay, colonization should stop, all the land should go back to their state or they should have their independence, the best thing is that Western Togoland should have been added to Eastern Togoland.
Yes.
But this was not the case. So long as Western Togoland was not allowed to join Eastern Togoland, they must not allow West Togoland to also join Ghana, because that was the intention of France and Britain to bring war into our land. Yes. Now, everybody to understand that the Togoland was not the only German colony or territory at the time.
No.
Pemba is there, Zanzibar, and all those people. Why is it that France
and everything?
Yeah. Why is it that Britain and France do not bring the war into any of those areas, but brought the war into Togoland and have it divided into two?
Yeah, I'm going to Nyako. I have a call. I think a listener want to ask a question or something. Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. You guys doing okay?
Yeah. Can I have your name, please?
My name is Ben.
Ben, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to tell my two brothers on stage, thank you for this important discussion on the Western Togoland.
Yes.
First and foremost, I wanted to tell my friend from Ghana on stage that this issue with Western Togoland should be stopped for two reasons. First of all, we've seen Gaddafi been killed by French. We barely lost, we just lost J.J. Rawlings. Ghana has been, Ghana has been a big player in the French system. We are currently in a tough moment with African French nations. When I say African French nation, those speaking French in Africa who are wanting their freedom from French currency. So such freedom is being jeopardized by J.J. Rawlings and Ghana. Let me explain this to you. Ghana is a big player in our effort to have our African currency. Any attempt to destabilize Ghana is an attempt to have a French regime.
Yeah. Hello,
their
Ben.
Say in our African.
Ben.
Yeah.
Are you using a speakerphone?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, because you speak directly in the phone, because using a speaker will interfere with the sound. So if you can directly, don't use anything, just speak directly.
Allow me
in the phone. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, this part of Western Togoland deal need to stop. I am away from Togo, and I know very well the importance of this portion of Togo that was added to Ghana. So the end game here is stop destabilizing Ghana right now. We need Ghana for the sake of French politics in Africa. If Ghana is destabilized right now, let me assure you that the fight in which we are against France is not going to be successful, and that is what the French want, and that's what Onyasinde of Togo wants. I know he's part of this game, helping Western Togoland to destabilize Ghana. Once Ghana is destabilized, what's happening now, Ghana will not have enough stay. Let me tell you, when you see the importance of Ghana, all Ghana has been doing to help Western French-speaking country. Any attempt to destabilize Ghana, anything you do to destabilize Ghana is going to hurt a lot the whole Africa. Please stop the game. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So our the caller is saying that he has an advice for you, the study group, and all the Voltarians of calling for an independent Western Togoland. That you need to stop it because it seems like there are some uh, hands, obscure hands in behind you and trying to go through you to destabilize Ghana, which is just getting stabilized, and that the aim is to stabilize Ghana and bring mayhem to Africa. Do you agree with him?
I completely disagree with him. I completely disagree with him because he should check the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. There are articles there that says that nobody should be denied their citizenship. I want to ask him if he as a citizen of a country will be told in the face that you are not a citizen of that country, pack and go to your place, and you have a community you are settling, and military state-sponsored national security apparatus will come and bend the whole area and ask you to go back to your country. How will he feel? You should answer me this question. How will he feel? Because this is the situation we are feeling here. Anytime people talk about destabilizing Africa, Africa is not going to be destabilized by people calling for their right to self-determination. What is destabilizing Africa is bad leadership. Corruption is what is destabilizing Africa. When political party leaders cannot speak the truth and know that those who put them there have put them there to change their situation, to ameliorate their plight, that's what is disturbing Africa. We are not those that, or we are not those in charge of economies of countries that are embezzling funds. Now check the history of various countries, even Ghana as we are now. Are we the one causing the unemployment? We are not the one causing the unemployment in Ghana. And unemployment is a time bomb for any nation in Africa. If they don't know, the next revolution in Africa is going to be the youth that are looking for a job and they are not getting. What we are talking about is that our rights as citizens must not be trampled upon and must be granted as it's supposed to be. When we have independence and we are still in between Ghana and Togo and we are still there, what is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. We started this foundation 25 years ago across governments. No government has been very clandestine like the current government. Why do I say this? You arrested our leader in 2017, took him to court, charged him for treason. For 7 months, you were not able to establish that charge. But you continue to arrest this man. Anytime they arrested our leadership, as obedient citizens as we are to the law, we go, we present ourselves so that, because we want to see the finality of this issue. So if people are law abiding and you are not respecting your own constitution, how dare point us that we are causing mayhem and we want to destabilize Ghana? It is the political leaders of Ghana that are causing mayhem, that are ready to destabilize their own country. Because as West Togoland, check the history of Ghana. Had it not been West Togolanders, Ghana wouldn't have been this place. So they cannot be calling us as second citizens in the country where we have laws, we have our document and everything. That is very clear that this land is supposed to be on its own. So if you are not reading the various books and issues, you cannot just wake up and call us that we are here to foment trouble. We didn't plan to break Ghana into anything. We are just asking Ghana. In 1922, this land was supposed to be on its own. It didn't happen. A white man from across the ocean come to decide our destiny as where we are supposed to be. Now, that white man is gone. We are here as brothers. We have to listen to ourselves that, no, this is what is not right. So sit down, let's talk about this. And you are taking guns, chasing people, killing people here and there. As I speak to you, there are lots of people that are languishing in the jails of Ghana, and some are not being taken to court. Only few will be reported, but the majority are there. Last time someone was arrested, and what was happening to the people there. Some concussions are being prepared for people to drink while their faces are blindfolded. Some are being shot, and others are being treated badly out there. Is it Western Togoland that are doing all those things? It is not us. We are just demanding answers from history. If Ghana have answers, he should provide it. When they arrested us, we said, okay, let's go to the court because we are law abiding. We couldn't find fault with what we are doing. And he continued to arrest us. Now, our leader said that let's sit down. As old as he is, he's 86 years old now, older than the president of Ghana. So you are supposed to call your elder brother, what is happening? Let's sit down and understand this. What exactly is the issue? Then peace and cool air will prevail in this. But they refused all his letters to them. He has several letters written to them recently. They refuse to honor any of those letters. And you are saying that we rather want to destabilize Ghana. It's not true.
So some observers will ask this question to you: that you have one of your own son, brother, and uncle, the late Jerry John Rawlings, who was president in Ghana for over 20 years. We here, we pray for him because Ghana has lost JJ, but it is Africa that has lost a great man. You can see all the celebration obituaries and whatever you name, that across Africa, across the world, we will really, miss him a lot. So people will say, why didn't you rise up and bring this matter to the fore when JJ was in power for 20 years? And why now? Why now?
Yeah. Thank you so much. I would like to say my condolences to the Rawlingses and everybody, the world, for losing JJ Rawlings. And the question is, why now? It is not why now. Like I said, Homeland Security Foundation has been established in 1994. 1994, it was Rawlings that was in power up to 2000. But because of the wisdom that our leader had, that we have seen too much of rioting, killing, fighting here and there on issues like this, he is going to adopt a more diplomatic and democratic way of engagement. So I have copies of letters to various successive governments from Homeland Security Foundation that let's sit down and look into this issue. Because anytime you are on the streets of Ghana, anywhere you speak a language from Togoland, Ghana together, the same Association of Indigenous Ghanaians, today they are celebrating him. They wrote a letter describing him as a mafia, the Jelukope mafia. That letter is there. Who is trying to take Ghana, which does not belong to his illegitimate son. And all these things are there. But because of the many atrocities in our land, we decided not to go violent, but to use the pen, and because we believe that peaceful engagement is the best. And this is what we have been doing. Like I said, there are letters here from successive governments up until this government, where the regional minister was asked in the parliament when he was being vetted, this 2017, when he was vetted in parliament, they asked him, did you know about Western Togoland issue? He said yes, he knew that Homeland Security Foundation is leading the West Togoland issue. They asked him again, what will you do? His response was unfortunate. He said, when I am given the power as the regional minister, I'm going to collapse the group. I'll make sure I collapse the group. And true to his word, 2017, he begins to arrest people on no ground. Someone was in his house, he went and arrested him. A young man was wearing our t-shirt. Every 9th May, we remember our lost forefathers in the plebiscite war. So every 9th May, we organize ceremony and pray for them. I believe if you know the history of Togo and Eastern Togoland, we do this commemoration for our dead. So we printed a t-shirt. We wrote on it, 9th May, our day, Western Togoland. We performed this ceremony, and it was even that 2017, we wore this t-shirt to Ghana's Independence Parade. That was 6th March. We joined and we paraded. And in May, after the celebration, 3 days after that ceremony, a young man was seen in the t-shirt, and a police arrested the young man, called the regional minister, and the regional minister asked that he should be arrested. He was kept there. The deputy secretary went to bail him. He was also detained, and the two of them, together with some group of policemen, came to arrest our chairman. They were charged with treason. This is what made everybody to know that what is happening. So had it not been the arrest that they are effecting, everybody would just be hearing the study group is doing this, is doing that, in a very sober and calm manner, until one day maybe you will hear that a new country has been born, or maybe there's a program for another plebiscite or referendum in Western Togoland. And that is how cool we want the whole thing to be, because we don't want any blood in our life. Even our leader has been saying that no drop of blood should be spilled in Western Togoland for our independence. So we have been respecting that order, and never, even when they are beating us, we decide to go by that understanding. So it is not why now. It is the current government that is mishandling the whole thing, using helicopters to arrest someone, flying him over to Accra, while they are caught in Ho, but this will be flown to Accra, and the whole world want to know what is happening. So if you engage a peaceful approach this way, everybody will begin to ask what is happening. So it is not why now. We have been consistent with our education till this rioting begins to come in, which is orchestrated by the current government.
So what is your status in the eyes of the current government? Yeah? Yeah, hello. Yeah, let me take some people on the phone. Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hello? Yes, may I know who's calling?
My name is Ben again. I just intervened, so I wanted to further this discussion with our brothers on the stage.
Yes. Go ahead, but be brief. Yeah, we are in the sake of time, so yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Hello, Ben. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. I wanted to ask my brother on stage, my brother from Ghana. I know for sure that I'm away. I have family members in Hohoi, Pando, Sogakope, and across southern region of West Togoland. My dad was raised in Ghana. So I know very well that the late J.J. Rawlings has played a major role in the development of democracy in Ghana. The reason why I say this is when you navigate through the whole Ghana, you will notice that most of the elites are from this Western Togoland. So, and advantage were given equally to those from from the Ewe tribe and the Ashanti and all other tribes. My concern is, do you think that since J.J. Rawlings no longer in power, this is a revenge because the Western Togoland does no longer have all the benefits or all the rights that they were given under J.J. Rawlings' regime? Is this a revenge? Number one question. Number two, is there a way because J.J. Rollins, I never hear him involved in this Western Togoland, though he's a very important player in politics in Africa. May he rest in peace. But throughout this Togoland deal, I might be ignorant, but I have not heard him talking about this issue, though he's a very respected person across Africa and across the whole world. So why didn't he get involved? And as a respected man, the whole world should have listened to him if he were to have talked. Number two, this deal of Western Togoland, I've been following this since 2004. And I know well those who are cooking this underground. I am well aware of the issue. So two questions is it because the Western Togoland tribe is no longer having all these privileges they were having when JJ was in power? And second question is, if the parent JJ Rollins, why wasn't he involved deeply in this fight for the freedom of the Western Togoland? Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if, thank you, Ben. I don't know if Nyapo has, yeah, hello? Okay, there is another call. I will take the call before we get to George Nyapo. Yes, hello, yeah, hello?
Hello?
Yeah, may I know who's calling, please?
Say it again?
May I know who's calling?
Yes, my name is Don. I'm calling from Washington, D.C. And okay. I have a comment and a question to ask to my brother and friend who is as the guest.
Okay.
My comment is this. There is a similarity, or there are similarities between the history in Ghana and Togo with what is going on now in Cameroon, where after the war, the German land was UK colony, French colony. And we really see what's going on now in Cameroon, where there's a war and a lot of killing and no peaceful solution. So my question to my friend is, do you think that splitting Ghana now in two parts, with the original Ghana and the Western or the Western Togo, or English Togo, whatever you call it, will be the solution rather than putting everybody together and then trying to find a way in having local government, local municipality, giving them enough autonomy to rule the series without having to report any detail to the federal government in Accra. That is one thing. The second thing is, I think the government in Accra has not established what I can say like a discrimination rule. There's not official discrimination rule in Ghana right now. So we should not confuse or make a confusion between the discrimination that any person in Ghana can have toward or against people that are coming from the original Togo with the official discrimination rule that can be established by the government. I have been in Ghana many times, and I know that there are, if you go even between Ashanti people, there are discrimination among themselves. So I think we should not confuse the difficulty of living together and trying to put it in country-wide and then trying to divide the country. I'm not denying that there's a problem in that area. That's not what I mean. But I'm just saying that maybe trying to push for the division of the Ghana now is to push for a wrong solution for an existing and real problem. What do you think about that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Don, for your call. Darko, we the two callers. The first caller one had two questions for you, and the second one has two questions as well. Are you listening, Darko? Are you with me? I don't think he's with us. I think again some technical difficulties. So when he's back, we're going to try to remind him of your questions again, so that he can address them. So far, he's not yet back. So yeah, now I hope he will be back. He will have his internet or whatever connection restored, so he can join again to continue this discussion. I think the discussion is getting more and more interesting, because we see that callers are coming with very pertinent ideas, suggestions, and questions toward a peaceful resolution of this dormant conflict. So I think that is there any other call coming in? A call? So yeah, I think the second caller was talking about the issue. He was establishing a parallel between what is going on in the Western Togoland and what is going on right now in Cameroon. Cameroon, whereby we have the issue of the British part of Amazonia that is right now leading a very violent campaign. There's too much, many killings and a lot of injuries around this issue. Again, we go back to the causes of these problems that Africa and some countries are now facing, and the origin of those crises, the origin of the crises. We can date them back to colonialism, whereby some people one morning decided to go and then invade, loot, steal, and take away everything they can take. And then, behind them, they will just leave problems that are unsolved. And now people who have inherited those problems have to contend with them forever. So it is one thing to try to address these issues. Another thing is to go back to the causes of what is going on now. Who planted the seeds of these kind of crises that we are facing today? And so we go back to the same people who have decided that they had the right to go and invade, loot, and destroy whatever they can destroy, because supposedly they were enlightened, and that they needed to take that light to other people, and so go and enlighten those barbarians, those uncivilized parts of the globe. This is what we know, and I think this really the true origin of these conflicts that we're dealing with. It can be traced back to colonialism, which really wasn't innocent. It was a very shameful enterprise. As one French minister, I think Jules Ferry, said that the colonial policy was the daughter to industrial revolution. For them, after having come up with the so-called industrial revolution, they had to find raw materials in order for their industries and factories and other things to function. So they couldn't find those raw materials anywhere other than going to Africa, where they can for sure get them for free. And this is why we cannot be, somehow, contradicted when we claim here again and again that countries like France would not be, what they are today, if not for Africa. Because what they have stolen from Africa has allowed them to become what they are today. All those beautiful roads, buildings that you see across France, Paris and Notre Dame, and anywhere you go, they got everything they got for them was for free. They didn't pay a dime, and they moved everything there and go and build their nation. But today they turn around and make fun of us, that we're poor, that we are underdeveloped, that we are a third world country. But I'm saying that yes, whatever they have used to build their countries has been stolen from us. Nobody sold them anything. They took it and they went. This is what happened. And today, the problems that they have created 60, 70, 80 years ago are now still there. We have to confront them. We have to deal with them. And the person who caused the problem, the perpetrator, has already left, but still laughing at us. This is where we are. So in any case, as the second caller has said, isn't it advisable for people from Western Togoland to maybe sit down with the central government and try to discuss and come to an agreement whereby there is an autonomy given to Western Togoland, where people can run their resources and whatnot freely, and also making sure that yes, there is no discriminatory behavior vis-a-vis those Togolanders. I think there is no problem with that solution. Discussion in the communication or in the dialogue, anything can happen. So I think this is where, as a Pan-African TV station, our role here is to make sure that Africa can unite, make sure that we can understand each other, make sure that we are trying to bring peace and tranquility on African soil. Make sure that we try to avoid anything that can create crisis and mayhem in Africa. So for that reason, I would say that suggestion is a good one, but it has to go from the willingness of the two parties to sit down and exchange and talk, discuss, and try to come to an agreement and see what can happen. I think if they have been able to live for almost now 60 years without any major problems, I think they can still, manage to live together peacefully, cohabitate, and make sure that development is shared, amongst the two groups. It is as Nako George mentioned. He said it is like there is economic injustice that they are facing. So everything comes down to economy. It comes down to how much this group has and how much the other group has. Everything comes down to how much the central government is willing to make sure that the prosperity that Ghana is enjoying is being shared, throughout Ghana, so that nobody can feel like they are a second-class citizen. So I think, this can be worked out very well. It depends on how much willingness, each party is trying to somehow put forward. So our hope is that, we get our guests back. If not, our show is nearing its end because we've been here for almost an hour. So at some point we will have to end the show. But, in terms of what we can learn from this, and I hope to bring Nyapko back because the business is not finished. We'll come back. And I do also want to invite any Ghanaian authority who feels like they want to come and share their side of the story with the world. They are welcome to do so because this is your TV. This is your one and only Pan-African TV that is run internationally. This is your TV of the diaspora. So you come here and you will have your spot to address your fellow Africans. So don't be shy, don't be afraid. Come and then we will receive you. You will come and do the work that you need to do in order to inform our brothers and sisters back home. So thank you so much. Do I have a call coming in? Yes, so I'm going to conclude this show with the hope that we will schedule George Nyapko for another day to come and finish the unfinished business, because we believe that he still has a lot to say. But unfortunately, the connection that he's using couldn't allow that to happen. But I would like to thank those who have called, namely Ben and Don, who called to add their, 1 cent to this very engaging discussion with the deputy, secretary or president of, the study group of Western Togoland Foundation. We thank him, by the way, for his, making himself available to be on this show to somehow explain the grievances they have against, the central government in Ghana when it comes to their Western Togoland. So with that said, I would like to renew my gratitude to all my listeners and followers that we are here because they are watching. And since they are watching, we're going to keep on being here. So for that, I will say thank you so much and accept our utmost gratitude. Thank you so much and see you on Saturday for another show, Afrique et Monarchie. This is your presenter, your host, Dr. Musa Isifu. Thank you.
C'est encore Yves Kenao. C'est toujours Yves Kenao qui revient. Cette fois-ci, pour vous dire que Tempo Afrique TV vous offre plus de 4000 chaînes de télévision. Les chaînes européennes, les chaînes américaines, les chaînes asiatiques, les chaînes africaines. À un prix imbattable. À un prix imbattable. Tenez-vous bien. $185 pour 12 mois, inclus le box. Alors, où est-ce que vous pouvez trouver mieux que ça si ce n'est pas sur Tempo Afrique TV? Mesdames, Messieurs, appelez seulement le 612 804 0295 et vous serez servi. Vous serez agréablement surpris de voir plus de 4000 chaînes de télévision rouler sur votre écran comme ça et vous choisissez laquelle vous voulez. Alors, mesdames, n'hésitez pas. N'hésitez surtout pas et ne faites pas compter. Prenez votre téléphone, prenez le tout de suite et appelez le 612, le 804, le 02 95. Nous sommes là, ici à Tempo TV, pour rendre votre vie simple et agréable. Alors, saisissez l'occasion de $185 pour toute une année, pour 12 mois, inclus le box. Quoi de mieux que ça? Pour toutes vos informations en politique, en économie, en sport, en santé, retrouvez Yves Kenao sur Tempo Afrique TV, la station de l'éveil du continent africain.
Du nouveau à Minneapolis, Tempo Afrique Travel. Vous voulez voyager? Achetez vos billets d'avion à l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, pas de problème de connexion, pas de problème de transfert de vol. Avec l'agent de voyage Tempo Afrique Travel, c'est le voyage en toute tranquillité, en toute beauté, de votre maison jusqu'à votre destination. Votre satisfaction est notre plaisir.